welcome to Hexed Encountered. My name is Joe. Today I'm going to be doing a playthrough of the game Fort Sumter, the Secession Crisis, 1860 to 1861. This is a game designed by Mark Herman. This is a GMT Games game, but this is actually the PC version, which is produced by Playdek, who's done several other adaptations of GMT games. And this one is obviously the game Fort Sumter, as I mentioned. I chose to do this game because I took a vacation to Charleston and visited Fort Sumter, and I had this game and I played it before, but I figured I would just do a quick and easy playthrough of the game so you guys can check it out if you have not seen it. This is a card-driven game, so it does have some characteristics in common with some of Mark Herman's other card-driven games. This is a relatively lighter game than some, and really it's a fairly simple, well, simple is probably not the right word, but like I said, it's a lighter game, so it's not overly complicated, and it's actually playable in a relatively short amount of time. So I'm just going to play against the AI, and the AI does a pretty good job, to be honest. It's usually right there with me, or it beats me some, I beat it some, but let's do that. So we're going to go in here and do a create game, and you can choose to play as the Union or the Secessionists. So Unionists or Secessionists, and I think for this game I'll just play as the Union. The Union gets to go first, and so let's just get this going here. We're playing AI player is the Secessionist, so let's go. So it doesn't take very long to load. This is as I mentioned, this is a fairly straightforward game, and here we go. So here's the board, and it's a 3-round game, and then there's a final crisis round, and we'll talk about that as we get to it. But this is round 1. And so the round 1 is called Lincoln Elected. So this is obviously the fall of 1860 when Lincoln won the presidential election. And the southern states started to think about seceding from the Union because they were afraid of what Lincoln was going to do regarding slavery. So let's get started. The first thing you do is you select an objective, which the AI player did. So you have an objective card. You don't know what your opponent's objective card is. It's hidden from you, and they would not know yours as well. So you can select the card, you bring it up, it'll show you what the card is. And so it says, State Assembly's objective. If you play this card and control the State Assembly space, you may remove up to 2 tokens from any one space. So basically, you are trying to control the various spaces in the game. Let's look at the newspaper one. So both of these are actually in the popular opinion category. There are 4 categories, and they're color-coded as well. The green in the circles, color-coded, and they have shapes as well. So the green in the circles here, newspapers, state assemblies, and abolitionists, those are public opinion. The bell, which are squares, those, and the ones that have double border on it are the ones that are actually the primary. And if you control the primary, and you get a victory point at the end, and you would also get another point if you control all elements of that particular, I forget what it's called now, particular phase. There's a term for it in the game, and I'm drawing a complete blank, and I apologize for that. But so Washington, the bell, as I mentioned, this is political. So we have Washington and Montgomery, the 2 capitals, and then you have the northern state houses. Obviously, Montgomery wasn't quite the capital yet of the Confederacy. Obviously, that came a little bit later after states started to secede. Then we have the Pentagon shape here. This is the military aspect, and you have the federal arsenals is the main one, and then you also have Fort Sumter. And you get an extra victory point if you control Fort Sumter at the end of the game. And then Fort Pickens is the other one. The star here, the rectangular ones that are kind of playing card shaped, that's the secessionist aspect. And we have border states being the top one, and then you also have Deep South and Texas. And as I mentioned, the green is the popular opinion. So I can choose to either go for newspapers, which is, as I mentioned, the lead one. So let's just try that. And typically the AI tries to tries to put pieces in as many of these as possible. The Union always goes first, but in seceding rounds it goes based on who has the lead in terms of victory points. As you can see right now, currently both sides have 0 victory points. So now you play your turn, and it's a card game. So this is actually a pretty bad hand for me, because if we look at these cards, you can play your card for value or event. None of these cards are a Union event. They're all secessionist events. So I could play this for value and get 1 card, 1 token to play. So as I mentioned, these are bad. So we have, that's a secessionist card. This is a secessionist card. So is this. And so is this. So they are all secessionist cards. There's an optional rule where you can play, if you play a card for its value, and the opponent can then choose to discard a card and take that event and play it as an event. I don't have that rule turned on, so we're going to play it for value, and I'm going to try and be sneaky about this, and I'll do this so he doesn't necessarily know that I'm going for newspapers. So once I commit my decision here with the check mark, and you can undo with this one, but let's commit. And now AI player up here, you can see his countdown. He's thinking, essentially, or the computer is thinking, and once the computer's done thinking, it will play something. And he played a card. It's a 3. That one was a gray and blue. As you can see, it's split in half. That's a card that's an event for either side. The Peace Conference, which lets you play the Peace Commissioner, which is this white meeple here. You can play that anywhere, and that will actually freeze that box, freeze that space, so that nobody can move anything in or out of it. And it would stay frozen until there are cards like that one where you can actually move it, and there are also, at the end of the 3 rounds, when you get to the final crisis, it comes off the board and everything's in play again. So as you can see, the AI went for 3 of the key spots. The only one it didn't play one in is Washington. So now I'm down to just basically 1, and I'm probably going to really this not having any events in my color is going to really put me behind the 8 ball. So it's unlikely that I'm going to come out of this doing well, because they probably have their own event cards, unless they drew a bunch of blue events, which is possible. But yeah, so that's a blue event, and he used it for 2, and he's got 3 in there now. So basically, I am not going to I'm not going to meet my objective, because I cannot win this space. I can tie it, and so I'll do that. I'm going to tie it because I might as well. And we're just going to play there, and we'll be tied. Now he can trump it and put a 4th in there, and that's the most you can play. And that's what he did. So again, as you can see, I'm not going to get my pivotal space bonus. He undoubtedly will. And I got nothing. I'm going to have a 0, and he's probably going to have, it looks like, yeah, he's going to have 2, because he got his objective card as well. Oh, and he gets 1 for having my objective too. I forgot about that. So chances are I am going to lose this game, because those cards were terrible. Now this time I got 2 for me, 2 of my own events and 2 of their events. So he also was able to remove all of my tokens. So I have, as you can see, I have no tokens on the board currently. I'm probably going to take the Washington objective, because nobody's in Washington yet. So I'm going to play that, and I'm going to take the Republican Party, and I'm going to actually, he goes first. That's right, the AI goes first because they have the lead, and they played in Washington, of course. So I'm going to play for the event this time, and now I can put 3 add 3 tokens to a political space. Oh, I have to put add, because that one gives you the option. You could also remove. I'm not removing. I'm putting all 3 in Washington. Okay. Now I'm going to play this one, I think. Oh, I get to play the Peace Commissioner. So let's do that. We're going to play the Peace Commissioner. I'm going to put it on Washington. That'll block him from putting anything else in Washington. So that guarantees I will get my objective this turn. Now we'll play this for the event, which allows me to put 3 in secession spaces. So I will do that as well. I'm going to put 1 there. Let's put 2 here. And let's block Deep South as well. Now I'll commit. And now they'll go and probably do something I won't like, but this is their 3rd card. Since I was not leading, I got to go first, second rather. They got to go first, so he's got 3 in federal arsenal. So I'm going to control Washington and the border states here. Now I'm going to play one of these for their value because they're both secessionist events. Now the final crisis, you always have 1 extra card at the end of the round. That card goes in here, and then you play this element. So you have the armaments element, then you have public events and secession, and those obviously go in. You would basically, that's an element of the strategy, is which cards do you want to have in your final crisis, because that allows you to move. As long as you don't play the same as you pick the order in which you play them, and if they don't match. So if they played public opinion and I played armaments, then I would be able to move 2 into or out, basically rearrange and put 2 into the armaments, and they would be able to do the same with public opinion. If you do play the same, then you both have to remove tokens. So it's kind of there's a bit of a strategy in that as well. So since I played armaments and I have public opinion and secession here, I'm going to actually play. They're both 2. So do I want public opinion or do I want secession? Let's play secession for its value, and I'm going to keep. This one will now go into the final crisis. So now I can put 2 tokens anywhere I want. So we're going to put 1 here. And actually, no, let me undo that. I'm going to put 1 here. Oh, oops. All right, let's do this again. Play for value. I want to put 1 here and 1 here. So now I'll control political, and he controls the arsenals. And once I commit, that'll be the end of the round. We go to the pivotal space bonus. So I control 2, he controls 2. He's got armaments and public opinion. I've got secession and political, but he's also got all 3 spaces in armaments and public opinion. So he's going to get 2. But I get to remove 2 from secession. So I will remove Texas. And oops, we'll remove that, and we will remove this one as well. Then I can remove 2 from political as well, but the only 2 I could possibly remove would be in Washington, which is frozen, so I can't remove anything there. So we have to just hit the X, then commit. Now he's going to be able to remove 2, which I think they already, maybe they didn't, I don't know. I didn't have a whole lot on there, so I get 1 VP, he gets 2 for that, and then he'll probably get another one for his objective card. And actually, no, I get it because I control Montgomery. So that actually worked out okay for me. Now I can remove 2, and we will take. Yeah, we're going to take this one and this one. Turnabout is fair play, as they say. Okay, round 3. I'm down. That first round killed me, and this one's not great either, only having 2 of my own events. So, let's see. We got northern state houses and border states. So I control border states currently, and I control northern state houses currently as well. So then you look at what happens if you actually achieve it. I can remove 2 from political or public opinion with the northern state houses, and with border states I can remove 2 from secession or 1 from any space. So Given that, I am going to probably go with this one. I'm going to go with this one. You can also look at what you have here, which helps. The Lincoln card is a good one because you get to put 3 tokens in any space. Gustavus Fox gives you 3 that you can put in an armament space, which is good for armaments, but not good for anything else, obviously. So we're going to play the Lincoln card for its event, and I get 3. So I'm going to go 1 here, like add. You can do add or remove, but you can only remove from 1 space. And he doesn't have 2 tokens in any space, actually, so it wouldn't make sense to do that. I'm going to go add. I'm going to put 1. I didn't mean to do 2 there, but I guess I can. And just to kind of throw him off the trail a little bit, let's put 1 in, should I do newspapers or Fort Sumter? Let's go. I'm going to go newspapers. Then we'll commit. And the AI is going to do something here to start round, second part of round number 3.
The Constitution.
And put 1 in newspapers. Newspapers, I'm guessing, is probably his objective for this turn. So I'm going to play Gustavus Fox for the event, which gives me 3 tokens to put in armaments. And 1, 2, 3, and block all 3 of those. And commit. Now he's going to play the last, his last card of this turn. And I have to decide if I want to do 2 tokens, which I do, because I'm going to prevent him from taking this whole, if I play this for 2, and normally I would take this for Final Crisis, although I actually have Public Opinion and Armaments in there already, so I take that back. If this was something else, Secessionist or political, I would probably put that in there instead. I'm going to play for value, and I'm going to put both in newspapers. And I lose a point there because I was the first to crack the Final Crisis. So not great, but it prevents them from holding this, and they would have had all 3 elements here. So we're just going to commit. I'm not going to win because I'm just not. That first turn basically destroyed any chance I would have of winning. So I can remove 2 from Secession, so I will do that. We will remove both of these. And 2 in political, which I can only remove 1. I could actually remove 1 of my own, which would be an interesting move because I don't have political. I don't have political in the Final Crisis. So here's the thing: do I think they're going to put 3 in here? I don't know. They could take Montgomery though easily because there's only 1 in here. They can also take Washington. So if he has political in his Final Crisis, he's probably going to be able to flip that. Same with border states, because I don't have that one as well. I'm probably going to be able to take the... I should hopefully be able to keep... Maybe. I might be able to keep newspapers. See, I'm in a bad spot here because I don't have anybody... I have 1 in armaments, but I have 2 armament cards, which means I can add 4. Assuming he doesn't also have armaments and plays it in the same one. So I'm just going to stop here. I'm going to leave the 3 in the northern state houses because I have 6 in there. I have 6 in my pool, so that's enough for 3. Public opinion I can remove 2. All right, let's do this. Remove 1 there and 1 here. Or should I do... Yeah, the hell with it. We'll try this. I've opened it up to where he can tie me here, but I do have public opinion as one of mine, so I might be able to... actually, hang on. I'm gonna undo this. I'm gonna remove... So we have to start over now. I removed the 2 from Texas, and I'm gonna do that again. And then I'm going to remove 1 from political, and I'm going to remove 2 from public opinion. I'm going to remove these 2. This is a bit of a risk, but I'm going to try it. You're only allowed to put 2, and so if he puts 2 in newspapers, he'll take that. But I have to, I'm 3 behind, so it's almost impossible for me to win. So now we go to our crisis dimension, and I'll get 1, and he'll get 1. So we'll stay 3 behind. Objectives, I believe we both met our objectives, so that should be okay. They control Fort Pickens, so they'll get 1 for that, and we'll stay 3 behind. And now we'll go to the final crisis. They're deciding who they're going, which tokens they're going to remove. So remove 2 tokens from political or public opinion. So let's remove this one and this one. And we will commit.
This is a world of compensations.
Alright, so now we have to decide what order, and I'm just going to do armaments, public opinion, armaments. And then they're choosing their order, and then we'll see what, how this plays out. Resolving the final crisis. Let's go. Alright, so he has secession, I have armament. So he can put 2 in there, which he did. Now, I can move or add. So see, since there's no match, each player starting with the first player may move up to 2 of their tokens from any spaces in our token pool into 1 or 2 spaces that match their played location type. So he was able to move things either from his pool or on the board into secession, which he did. I have armaments, so I am going to move 2 into armaments. I'm going to put 1. Put 1 here, and I'm not going to be able to take armaments over because I can only put 2 more in. Wait, what? Oh, boop, 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 boop. I did that incorrectly. We'll do that. Now he's got secession again and public opinion, so he's going to take secession, and I have public opinion. So I can take this guy and put him here, this guy and put him here. Check. And now we have armaments, and that means we have to remove. You can remove 2 or 1. So I'm going to remove 2 from here or here. I can remove 1 there and 1 there. So I will control. Oh, he removed. Yeah, he removed somebody from Montgomery for me. I didn't even notice that. So he's going to get 1 point for Fort Sumter because he removed mine from Fort Sumter. Or I didn't put 1 in Fort Sumter, that's what it was. Alright. Alright, final scoring. I'm going to lose. um, 8-5. So going down 3-0 after round 1, that's the game right there, because otherwise it would have been a tie, and a tie goes to the Union. So there you have it. As is the case with a lot of card games, if you get a bad hand, you are going to be behind the 8 ball. Now, I'm sure I could have played that better, but obviously, I guess I didn't. So that's it. That's the game. I could do it again, play as the Confederacy, but that would probably come out to be. I might not do any better. But so the game is, to finish this up, the game is a good game. It's as I mentioned, it's relatively quick playing. There is some strategy involved. There is some luck involved with what cards you get. But it's good. The AI is good. It gives you a challenge. I mean, it does some things occasionally that you might scratch your head about. But overall, it plays pretty well, in my opinion. So I think that's a good thing. And as I mentioned, this is a relatively light game, so very easy to pick up. I do recommend it, whether you play the board game or the PC edition. Steam is having a spring sale right now as I'm doing this, just about a month out from the actual anniversary of the attack, or the bombardment, however you want to put it, of Fort Sumter by the Confederate forces that began the Civil War. So for now, that's going to do it. My name's Joe. This has been Hexed Encountered, and as always, until next time, happy gaming.